Hey everyone. You know, I was planning to do this earlier, but you know, I couldn't, and I was tired, so I took a nap for a while. You know, kind of fell asleep. It's Sunday. You know, you want to fall asleep. Have a restful day period for a while. You know, because Sundays are known as the lazy days. Um, anyway. I know a lot of people by now are probably making videos and going to be uploading videos on the reviews of Slammiversary that just ended about a little bit ago. I didn't watch the Slammiversary, so you know, I can't really say anything about it. I'll have to watch it later. I'll have to download it and watch it later. But you know, that's not what this is about. This is another update, believe it or not, on the whole Bryan Danielson firing, if you will, and I mean firing, for more wrestling entertainment. Now, we've had many things come out lately about why he was fired. You know, I talked about it about 2 days ago and said that it could be part of the storyline and everything. And then I talked about it yesterday. Well, I believe, again, it could be what's known as a legit work. In other words, he was really fired, but it's all being played into the storyline so that, you know, perhaps he can go on the independents maybe he can go back to Ring of Honor and talk about how the WWE fired him because the NXT guys, you know, they just want an opportunity and all that or something like that. I don't know. But after last night, I saw another video, and I saw Truthslayer, T.Y. Slayer, here on YouTube, talk about some information that he found out that might make sense, may not make sense. It's just a rumor that he read. And the rumor is that Mattel, that's just a rumor, but the rumor is Mattel was the one that were the people that called into the WWE, called into Vince McMahon and said, hey, we didn't like what you were doing with that angle last Monday night. We don't like the fact that you got this guy choking out this Justin Roberts, even though he's the ring announcer with his own title. We don't like that. You know, get rid of him. You know, that's one of the rumors going around, that Mattel was the ones that called up the WWE, called up Vince McMahon and said, hey, fire Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, get him off television. But you know, again, this is just a rumor that Truthslayer found out, researched and found out about. Today I read a little bit more from the Bleacher Report, which is part of the Baltimore Examiner, and there's other things, you know, people are talking about, like who is to blame, besides possibly Mattel. Some are saying Vince could be to blame, but you know, why would he be the one to blame for Daniel Bryanson's firing if he was there to congratulate Daniel and the rest of the NXT rookies on a job well done with the invasion angle? And then some say it could have been Stephanie McMahon. But why? How could the head of writing, creative writing, be the one to blame if she knew what was going to happen? Some say you got to blame Kevin Dunn, since he's the one in charge of production and in charge of placing, you know, the camera angles where they are, or basically directing where the camera angles got to be. And you know, why would you blame him when he specifically had the camera zoom in on Daniel Bryan choking Justin, and then Daniel Bryan spitting and roundhouse kicking John Cena? Why would you do that? You know, why put the blame on him? Why would he want, you know, Daniel gone? And some other, or it could be somebody else. Some even say it could be Linda McMahon, who's running for Senate. Maybe she called up Vince and said, you know, honey, you need to not do this invasion angle right now. I'm trying to run for Senate, blah, blah, blah. Maybe she did it. Well, that's kind of, her name's kind of like at the bottom of those that did called in. Who called in and suggested Daniel get fired. But again, it could be many rumors. It could be anybody. You know, it could be the FCC for all we know. They called it. You know what I'm saying? But the reason Mattel is the strong candidate, when these of who could have possibly been responsible for Daniel Bryan's firing. The reason they're the strong candidate is, well, Truthslayer talked about this. Mattel basically, in case you don't know, and you haven't really read about it much, Mattel is basically now in charge of the whole action figure deal. In other words, they're the ones that are producing the action figures of the WWE superstars and divas, as well as the belts and the rings and all that. So that would be, you know, another reason why Mattel is a strong candidate. Another thing that Truthslayer talked about is this sort of reminds us reminds you back in the 80s. You see, back in the early to mid 80s, when the WWE started taking off with the rock and wrestling connection, Hulk Hogan, Cindy Lauper, and all that, and they had all these action figures from, I don't know who was doing it at the time, as well as they had this cartoon show on CBS. You know, back then, they wouldn't even try to pull a stunt like this. And when they wouldn't even have tried, like I said, they wouldn't have tried to pull a stunt like this. They wouldn't, because they would have lost everything. But I guess after they lost the cartoon and everything, they just, you know, they still stayed kind of like kid-friendly and everything, but slowly, as we all know, started becoming what they were into what they are now. And then when I was watching Truthslayer's report, when he mentioned the cartoon deal of why, you know, hopefully, because he mentioned that, and it sort of dawned on me. I don't think anybody's mentioned this, but WWE, from what I read online, was actually in negotiations with Nickelodeon to possibly bring an animated series to the channel within the next year. That's right. That's right. WWE wants to bring a WWE-related cartoon series to Nickelodeon, to Nicktoons, within the next year. So that would be, and I think this all spews from the fact that they got this deal with Mattel now, and Mattel is known for being the one of the main toy lines that can actually help a franchise or a product, you know, possibly get an animated series. So, you know, that could be another reason why people say Mattel, why the rumor going around is Mattel could have been the ones that made the call to get rid of Daniel Bryan, because they're trying to help maybe WWE get a cartoon series with Nickelodeon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to put that all into consideration. I mean, I know it sounds confusing, and again, this question is just like this question is sort of like in the same area as asking the question, who is behind the NXT invasion storyline-wise? Who is behind it? You know, I've already said in my 2 audio deals that I believe the person that's the vocal piece for NXT and is behind it is Drew McIntyre. But that's just my opinion. But again, I thought I'd just kind of give a response to what Truthslayer said, and on his thoughts on the whole Daniel Bryan firing and how he believes, and how he says the rumor going around is that it was Mattel that did it, and I think I know why they did it, because of possibly trying to help WWE get a cartoon series with Nickelodeon. But that's just, you know, my thoughts on it, and that's all I'm going to say on it. You got any comments? Let me know. I'll talk to you later.